must remember, because of the forefathers, and what is happening currently now? Who's marrying who? The whites is marrying the blacks. The blacks is marrying the whites. What is going to happen there? Colours. Like, they doesn't understand the meaning of the word coloured.
Yeah.
And that is where this whole thing, I agree totally with you, what you are saying, Cynthia. But it's because we as coloured don't want to accept our heritage. We don't want to accept who we are. And that is also self. They deny themselves their right of being a human being or who they are. Because if the blacks is going to continue marrying the white ladies, and the white ladies choosing the colored men and males and the black males, the children is all going to be colors. And you can't ask the question, why is there so many colors in Cape Town? We are breathing colors.
But Cynthia, your point, when I served in the Navy, I saw that very problem amongst the coloureds themselves, because there was only a coloured group, but there was one guy who was very dark, and they called the Uswarte, the old black one.
Wow.
You know, and so they discriminated against this. He's one of their own, but because he was darker than the rest, he got mocked by his friends, and he felt out. So, you know, but I've seen that, and I've heard about stories in Brazil, all in America, all over. Even in a black community, if you're darker than the others, sometimes they make fun of you.
We need to write books.
I mean, and you see, why do we have skin lightening treatment?
On the struggle of the color.
Why do we have skin lightening treatment? And why do the people buy skin lightening treatment?
And it's trying to say white is superior,
it's
white is pure.
Yeah.
And then people then are not able to actually accept themselves as they are. Yeah. And another point that I really want to say with apartheid, you know, some of the things, it was closing doors, but for me, it opened one door for me to get education abroad. Because I wanted to do a degree in psychology. When I applied to all the universities in South Africa in the early 1990s, I was told that psychology, it's not a subject for black people. So for me, it was so painful then, but I applied abroad and I got accepted and I did my psychology there. So I always say, yes, apartheid was bad, but something positive out of it came out. I met my second husband there, and I got both my master's and my doctorate degree because I was denied to do that subject in South Africa.
And you know, I'm going to share something very personal with you.
Yes.
And reserve your feelings, even as I say this, because sometimes your feelings might jump ahead of what I really want to say. But I'm sure, and even today, some people think like this. But when I was a little child and apartheid was still in force, okay, the sense was easy. White people are smart, black people are not. Black people cannot study, or even color population, you know, that type of thing. And so I went to Eastern Europe, and guess what? I was shocked, because this place was falling apart. And I thought, but these are white people. How come they live like in such rough situations and everything's falling apart and it's broken and everything? And then I realized, this system is creating this.
Yeah.
You know, this is why their situation looks so bad. Look back at the Arabic culture. The Arabic culture was the top culture in the world with math and science and all this stuff. And they descended into a terrible situation, and now they have to pick up again and pick up. Then I came back to South Africa after apartheid was out. But why are there so many smart black people around? Where were they during apartheid? And then your slow little mind realized, didn't you realize it was the system?
It's a system.
You know? And suddenly, and I think even someone mentioned to me in one of Nelson Mandela's writings, he got into a plane and he looked into the cockpit and he saw a black pilot. And he got afraid.
Plain.
Because a plane might go down. You know? And all of a sudden then he realized, hey, you know, I have to get rid of that. I spoke to a friend of mine from Kenya. He said, yeah, I have to admit to you, even today it is true. When I go to town to go to a restaurant, there are two restaurants that look the same.
Yeah.
One is run by an Indian guy and one is run by a black guy. Guess which restaurant I'm going to go to? He says, the Indian one.
The Indian, yeah.
Because you are nervous about the black guy's restaurant, you know? Is it clean back there? That type of feeling. He says, and we have to rebuild because the system really, really worked us down. You know, and we have to rebuild. And I have seen some fantastic examples of quality, of professionalism, of everything now all spreading all around. And it's nice to see that. Because that builds self-confidence. That builds, that's what it does, is a good education and building each other. Then you get rid of that. Then our color differences is a blessing. Because the way you think is a different angle. I never thought of it that way. Then it offers these things to us. Then it's so fun to have all these cultures.
And to talk about them.
In the Bible time, there was already different languages. When it was ball coming down, God had put it in place. He said, you're not coming to me so easily. And what did he create? Different languages. So why all these questions? Where does you come from? How? But if you think and going back to the beginning, and you can read in the Bible certain things and compare to this line, and you ask yourself, but we don't have to worry about me being colored, you being a black, because God created the difference. He caused
the master plan for all of us.
He had the master plan for everything.
And that's this. And I think then we come to we are all noble and precious.
Yes, exactly. Oh, yes.
You know? And today still it's to me very painful to see children of any color that don't get a good education. That to me is, we've got to fix that. We've got to fix that. That cannot be excused and say, well, we've got a good reason why the textbooks are not delivered, or for 6 months they've got to sit there.
System again.
We cannot blame. No blame. We've got to fix it.
That's why I'm saying we, the people on top, must stop looking at difference and start seeing me as different and seeing Cynthia as different. Me and Cynthia is not seeing each other. We are seeing us both writers. And there's no difference. The message you want to bring out is we want to help the next person seeing the light in front is there. But what is certain things happening? Our government still wants us to think, no, there is a difference. They want us thinking there is a difference. But there is actually we are the majority. We are the people that must let the government see that there is no difference, that we are equal, and that they must start doing things equally from the top. And as you said, education must be equally spread. Not like this area must get so much, that area. See what the promise and make sure that all the children of South Africa
in May when I
be
travelled to the Northern Cape, I saw that difference in the school systems. I mean, it's one province from one town to another, and I was shocked to see our son do well and others struggle. That's hard. That's hard to see that, because I always feel children deserve the best. All children.
They should all belong to the new generation, because we have this concept of the new generation, but other kids are still not experiencing that. And you know, I said initially that our charity organization has adopted family headed children-headed families. If you go there, Jack, you'll cry. You'll cry. Literally nothing. Literally nothing. And some of these kids, if they don't go to school any longer, because they feel that they are different from other kids, you know.
And that is
during our times, it was easy to go to school without shoes, but not anymore, because our children have got cellular phones, they've got what they wear. So, but there's still this group of children who you sit at home and when you bless your food, you know, you think of them. Oh, I wonder today if they've cooked anything, if they have anything to eat, and it's what you are saying, and they are deprived the most key that can open all doors, education, and it's still ripe and rife in the township in the way, and my heart is still there. That's why I'm saying I try so much. You know, sometimes I have to steal from my husband. You know, in terms of not telling him what I do with the family resources. I will collect stuff when he's not around and take to the kids, and then I will use the whatever money we have sometimes to just go and buy groceries once a month and uniforms where I can. So that's why I'm saying, really, my being here today, it's giving me even more hope that whatever we do, whatever, from the proceeds of whatever I get, I make it a point that my children are blessed. They have everything, but those kids, I still belong to that old philosophy that as a mother, I'm a mother to all and for all.
Yeah.
And that makes me like the feeling of being close to what God wants us to do.
You're a partner
to make a
with
difference.
you're a partner with God to bless.
Exactly.
Because God uses us
Yeah.
to share those blessings.
Yeah. And I really want, I don't know what else to do, but I just look at that family. I'll give you the copy of the book once it's done, from a mother to mothers and girls, because some of the stories I did interviews with the mothers and the girls themselves, and I had to switch this thing off and cry with them, and then go back to the interview.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
You know, I
It's
always said to myself, and I believed it, but now I'm going to tell you the opposite is true too, that I know who I am and things around me cannot destroy me in knowing who I am. And I've really believed that and lived that my life, but